Hi, I'm Mr. Kong, and I want to go over the syllabus for chemistry. So you will find the syllabus on Schoology. So I want to go through the syllabus. What it includes, of course, is what this class is about, the topics that we'll go over in the class in chemistry, grading, and some of the policies at Pally. So first of all, again, my name is Kevin Kung. My email is right here, kkung at pallyhigh.org, which is probably the best way to reach me. You can also reach me via Schoology, but I actually have to log into Schoology to reply to those, whereas email, I can just do that pretty much anywhere. The classroom is F204. So welcome. I'm not going to read this word for word for all this stuff. I'm just going to go through some of the overall um, stuff on the syllabus. So welcome to chemistry. Um, and in this semester, what you will see is we'll go through these topics in the second paragraph, including measurements, calculations, energy, atomic theory. As I said, I'm not going to read this all to you word for word. Nuclear energy, and is all from the brand new textbook that we're using, which is The World of Chemistry by Zoomdahl. And so that's the textbook. The textbook is by, I think the company is called Cengage and National Geographic. So next thing I want to do is go over grading. So grading, there are four. Here they are, the four main topics or four areas for grading: homework, classwork, participation, labs and projects, tests and quizzes, and a final exam or culminating project. Let's start with actually just say final exam or culminating project. It says here, final exam or culminating project is 10% of the semester grade. That's pretty much going to be during finals week. And I also put culminating project because there's been some years, unique times, where we didn't have a final exam, say during COVID, and instead we just had a culminating project. Most likely we'll have a final exam, but I put or culminating project just in case something, some unique circumstance happens. The biggest portion of your grade, as you can see, is tests and quizzes. And so test and quiz, you kind of know what that means. Many of our tests will be partially multiple choice, maybe partially free response, and it kind of depends on the chapter. There are some chapters where there's a bunch of math involved. In fact, there's many chapters where there's math involved where you need to show your work. And in those cases, in those chapters, we might have a portion of it being the test being free response, meaning you need to show all your work. And there are some chapters where it's primarily definitions or something where there's not much to show, so those might be just multiple choice questions. So it depends on the topic, depends on the chapter, and it really varies. Again, there are some chapters where there is a lot of work to show, and those would be a free response type of question. Labs, project, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Homework, classwork. Homework, a good portion could be online. They could be something called Ed Puzzles. They could be something called CK12s. They could be some other curriculum that goes along with the book. But you'll see some of it's online. Some of it might be on paper that you might have to turn into class. It will vary, but homework, classwork is pretty much, besides the lab, it's everything you do that's not a test. I do describe all these things down here, lower in the syllabus. I'm not going to read them all to you, but there's a few things I do want to point out. First thing it says on at the bottom, extra credit is rare, should not be expected. So last year, I think we had 0 extra credit opportunities. So expect the same. There were no extra credit, pretty much anything. So don't expect it. And well, that's the main thing. Don't expect any extra credit. Other things are on here. I talk about participation, late work. Late work will be accepted up to a week upon returning from an excused absence. So if you are out sick um, and you come back, first of all, a lot of the work is online, but I'm talking about more of the paper stuff. You can have a week to turn it in. Afterwards, the maximum credit will be 30%. Labs are labs, tests are tests. You know what that means. There may be makeups on some chapter tests. Let's say, for instance, you do poorly on the chapter 5 test. Uh, don't worry, obviously, we're just starting the year, but let's just say, hey, we had a chapter 5 test and you did not necessarily do well. There may be makeups may be available at teacher's discretion, and they will be averaged in with the original score of the exam or quiz. So whatever you got on the chapter 5 test, whatever you get on the makeup, you'll get the average of those two. So that's what will go in your grade book, is the average of whatever you got on the makeup with the original. A maximum of 3 makeup exams can be taken each semester. So you can't just make up every single chapter test. But so you can make up to 3. Makeup exams, of course, will not include midterms or finals, so there will be no makeup final. There will be no makeup midterm. Whatever you get in a final is whatever you get in a final. Okay, other things down here. I think I need to shrink my face. Okay, so other things down here, or I'll just move my face. Cell phone policy. I'm annoyed with cell phones, and so the PCHS policy on cell phone applies, and what it says is that, I forget the exact words, pretty much that no cell phones should be seen nor heard during class. So cell phones should neither be seen nor heard during class. What happens if you have your cell phones out or used during class? The PALI policy is that I need to confiscate the cell phones, give them to the dean, and you'll pick them up from your cell phones from the dean. And as well as I believe there is 2 hours of detention. I had to look up the exact policy, but I believe it's something like that, or maybe that was on the second offense, if that happens the second time. But each time you get caught with a cell phone in class, the teacher is supposed to take it, give it to deans, and the consequences gets worse each time it happens. Basically, I know many of you have cell phones. I have a cell phone myself. Put it away. Put it on silent. Okay. If it's an emergency, situation, you tell me beforehand. But cell phones should neither be seen nor heard at any time during class. You can just put in your bags. I do have a cell phone pocket holder. I don't intend to use that immediately, but if I have to, we'll have to. Other things, AI policy. Students are expected to do their own work. PCHS AI policy also applies to chemistry class and any other class. Last line on the syllabus does say this syllabus is subject to change with any and all outstanding circumstances and or situations that may occur. And that's just in case something unique happens, like in 2020. That was obviously a unique situation. I hope that never happens again, but just in case, I've had to put in the syllabus like, hey, if something very special circumstances occurs, this is subject to change. It's unlikely, but this is more of very, very unique circumstances. Okay, anyway, so that's syllabus. You'll find this on Schoology, should be at the top of the Schoology page for the class. And it's going to stay on there all year. I didn't print this out, so I'm not giving it to you. It's just going to be on Schoology. You want a copy, go ahead and download it and print it yourself. But it is available online. Anyways, thank you and good luck, and I will be seeing you throughout this year.